how Ciryl Gane became the biggest disappointment in the heavyweight division. I know a lot of people are going to be high on Ciryl Gane after his performance against Tom Aspinall, where he did look pretty good in the 4 minutes that it lasted. But if we look at Ciryl Gane's career as a whole, we'll see how many times he's disappointed, underperformed, and how many fights he really should have looked better in than he actually performed. I think despite Gane's criticisms, he actually is one of the few heavyweights that actually is talented, that's in shape, and he is one of the best heavyweights on the roster. But despite being one of the best heavyweights, if we look at where he is in his career, he should have been so much higher than where he is now. He should have had so many better wins by now, and he should have fought a lot more compared to what we thought he was going to be when he entered the UFC. Gane was always an athlete, and he ended up being introduced to MMA after starting up his Muay Thai career. He looked good in Muay Thai, and he eventually got signed by the UFC. And it's funny because when Gane was signed, a lot of people were talking about him like how people talk about Aspinall now. Light on his feet, super fast, and one of the few talented heavyweights. He was seen as the new generation heavyweight, a guy who relies more on speed and technique than power. He started off his UFC career pretty well with back-to-back submissions, showing that he does have offensive grappling. I know a lot of people talk about Gane's grappling being not that good, but I think his offensive grappling is pretty good. It's just his defensive grappling is just not there. He's able to beat Volkov in a 5-rounder, and while it was pretty boring, he did look very good and it was a very technical match. And then he's able to finish Derek Lewis in his home state, gets the TKO win, and gets the interim title, and is set up to face Francis Ngannou in their fight. This was a grudge match, and the stakes were very high with Dana White and Francis Ngannou. Gane was the slight favorite heading into the fight, and I know people will say, well, Francis Ngannou, he's one of the best heavyweights, he was the champion at the time, and Ciryl Gane just got unlucky having to face Francis Ngannou, Jon Jones, and Tom Aspinall. But if we look at these guys one by one in the fights, these guys are beatable. If we look at the first title fight with Francis Ngannou, Francis had lost multiple times before this fight. He was injured going into the fight. I believe his knee was messed up, and he was fighting kind of on one knee. And Ciryl Gane did look good. He won the first 2 rounds, he lost the last 2, and it all came down to the 5th round where he was controlling Ngannou, and it looked like he was going to end up winning the fight by a close decision. He makes a stupid mistake. He goes for the submission, ends up on bottom, and Francis wins the fight. Now, you could argue that Gane should have won the fight because when Francis got on top, he didn't do any damage, but it really was on Ciryl Gane. He made a stupid mistake, and it cost him the fight and cost him the belt. That was definitely a winnable fight. He then gets to fight Tai Tuivasa, who we know is not a great fighter at all. He faces some adversity, but he's able to get the finish in an impressive performance. And because Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones fell through, he's gifted another shot at the title. Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane. And I know it's Jon Jones. I know that that's a very hard fight for Ciryl Gane, but he put up no resistance and he looked awful. He tapped immediately. He got taken down immediately. He didn't stick to the game plan. He could not overextend at all because he knew he was going to get taken down. What does he do within the first 90 seconds of the fight? Overextends horribly, gets taken down immediately, and you could just see he was so afraid in that fight. Jones would throw the slowest strike you've ever seen, and Ciryl Gane, who is a great striker, jumps backwards. He was so terrified, and I know Jon Jones probably would win that fight 9 times out of 10, but still, Ciryl Gane underperformed badly in that match. And people will say, oh, it's Jon Jones, of course he's going to lose, but Jon Jones was coming off of a 3-year layoff, and his last fight was against Reyes, which was the worst performance of his entire career. It's not like Jon Jones, it's impossible to beat him. It's not that Ciryl Gane lost this fight. It's just how badly he performed. Then he's able to beat Spivak in a very impressive performance, and because of the holdup in the heavyweight division with Jon Jones getting injured, Dana White wanting to make Stipe versus Jones for some odd reason, Ciryl Gane is forced to fight another time, and he should have fought Tom Aspinall. Aspinall was calling him out to fight, and as we see now, that is a winnable fight for him. He could have easily beat Tom Aspinall if they fought in 2023. He could have won, and he would have been granted the undisputed title with Jon Jones retiring. And with how bad the heavyweight division is, he could have defended his title multiple times, but he decided to not take the fight. He didn't want to fight Aspinall unless it was for the belt, and because of this, he has to fight one more time against Volkov in the rematch. And again, he underperforms badly. Myself and many other people believe that Volkov won that fight. The judges got it wrong. He got gifted a decision. And the first 2 rounds were very competitive, but that 3rd round, it was all on Ciryl Gane. He got taken down, controlled, and he made no effort to get back up to his feet. He kind of threw that round away, and because of that, it should have costed him the fight, but he gets gifted the decision, and again, gets gifted a 3rd title shot against Tom Aspinall, who is very good, who is the champion. But if we watch Aspinall, he is beatable. He is beatable. His striking defense is not good. He's sloppy, and we don't know how he looks in the later rounds because of how dangerous he is in the first round. And Ciryl Gane is actually looking pretty good. It was a very close back and forth fight for as long as it lasted, but looks like, okay, he's going to make it past the first round. We'll see how he does in the later rounds. Gane eye pokes him badly, no contest. And I feel like that was his best shot at winning the title right there against Aspinall. You could argue the Francis fight, but I feel like that was the fight to win against Aspinall. He looked great for as long as it lasted. Eye pokes, no contest, and now he's going to get a 4th title shot. But I feel like for Aspinall now, he's going to be a little bit more prepared. He looked kind of rusty. He hadn't been in the octagon for about a year, a little bit over a year, and I feel like Aspinall now may come in with a better game plan. He may take things a little bit slower. He may realize, hey, I'm not going to finish this guy like I do everyone else in the first round. He may save his gas tank, and maybe he is good in the later rounds. We just don't know. So while it is possible that Gane is able to beat Aspinall in the rematch, and he still is a very talented fighter in the heavyweight division, where he is now in his career compared to where many people thought he was going to be a few years ago, especially when he first came into the UFC, he has just disappointed. But we'll see if he can revive his career, if he can beat Tom Aspinall in the rematch. If he loses that fight, that'll be 4 title shots that were unsuccessful. Because of how bad the heavyweight division is, I wouldn't be shocked if they gave him another one. Plus, the UFC loves Ciryl Gane for some reason, and they hate Aspinall for really no reason. You would think it would be the opposite way. But still, let me know what you thought of the fight last night, what you thought of Ciryl Gane's career as a whole, for his Francis fight, for his Jones performance, and for his recent performance against Aspinall, how you see the rematch going. Let me know what you think, and yeah.